When my sister played a video of me at Mom's funeral, drunk and cursing at the coffin, saying I never loved her, the entire family disowned me. I lost my $52 million inheritance to her. 6 days later, she was screaming in court as the IT expert showed how she deepfaked my face onto an actor's body. But the real shock came when Mom walked into that courtroom, very much alive, and said, "I've been watching everything from my hidden cameras. Both my daughters disgust me. If you're watching this, subscribe and let me know where you're watching from. Let me tell you how I exposed my sister's AI crimes, discovered my ex-husband's involvement, and learned my dead mother had been testing us all along. My name is Sarah Chen. I'm 45, a software engineer who helped build one of Silicon Valley's first AI companies. Ironic, considering I'd be destroyed by the same technology I'd pioneered. When Mom died of a stroke 3 months ago, she left behind Chen Industries, the pharmaceutical empire she'd built from nothing. $52 million in assets, though we'd learn later it was actually worth 4 times that. My younger sister, Emily, had always been the actress of the family. Broadway dreams that turned into Instagram influencer reality. 2 million followers watching her perfect life, while she secretly resented that Moms will split everything equally between us. "It's not fair," she'd whispered at the funeral. "I stayed with her. I took care of her. You were always too busy with your computers." She wasn't wrong. I'd been absent, building my career while Emily played the devoted daughter. But Mom's will was clear. 50-50 split, no conditions. Emily smiled and hugged me that day, saying we'd honor Mom together. I should have noticed her boyfriend, Marcus, filming our every interaction. I should have questioned why Emily insisted on hosting the will reading at her house instead of the lawyer's office. The ambush came 2 weeks after the funeral. Emily had called a family meeting, said she had something important to share about Mom's final wishes. 30 relatives gathered in her living room, expecting perhaps a video message from Mom. Instead, Emily stood up, tears streaming, and said, "I need to show you all something about Sarah. It breaks my heart, but you deserve the truth." She played the video on her 70-inch TV. There I was, at Mom's funeral, stumbling drunk toward the coffin. My face clear as day, my voice slurring. Finally, the old bitch is dead. Pretending to love her for 40 years, exhausting. At least now I get paid for my performance. The me in the video actually spit on the coffin before security dragged me away. The room exploded. Aunts gasping, uncles shouting, cousins recording on their phones. I sat frozen, watching myself do something I'd never done, say words I'd never thought. "That's not me," I said, but my voice was drowned out by the chaos. I wasn't even drinking at the funeral. Test anyone who was there. "Sarah, we all saw you leave early," Emily said, perfectly timed concern in her voice. "You said you needed air. Now we know where you went." She was right. I had left early, overwhelmed by grief, to sit in my car and cry, alone. No witnesses, the perfect window for her fake timeline. "This is deepfake technology," I protested, my engineering brain recognizing the signs. "Look at the lighting inconsistencies around my neck. The shadow directions don't match." But trying to explain technical details to emotional relatives was like speaking Latin to toddlers. They saw what they wanted to see, the absent daughter showing her true colors. Uncle James, Mom's brother and executor of the will, stood up slowly. "Sarah, I think you should leave. We'll need to discuss this with the lawyers, but clearly you're not fit to inherit anything." The family nodded in agreement, 30 against 1. Emily put her hand on my shoulder, fake sympathy radiating. "I'll make sure you get help, Sarah. Maybe rehab. Mom would want that." I was escorted out like a criminal. Within hours, the video was on social media, tagged with number disrespectful daughter and number funeral shame. My phone exploded with messages of disgust from friends, colleagues, even my ex-husband David, who wrote, "I always knew you were cold, but this is inhuman." Emily had orchestrated a complete character assassination in less than 3 hours. The next morning, Uncle James called. "The family has decided to contest your inheritance based on moral turpitude. Emily has agreed to manage everything until the court decides." Moral turpitude. A legal way of saying I was too disgusting to deserve Mom's money. "James, that video is fake. I can prove it." "Sarah, stop. The more you deny it, the worse you look." Emily even has witnesses who saw you at a bar that night. Witnesses? Of course she did. Emily had been planning this for months, maybe years, but I needed to focus on proving the video was fake. I called my former colleague, Dr. Kevin Park, who'd left our AI company to start a deepfake detection firm. Sarah, I heard about the video. The entire tech community is talking about it. Because it's fake, Kevin. Can you analyze it? Send it over, but Sarah, even if I prove it's fake, who's going to believe it? Your sister's narrative is already viral. You're trending on Twitter. Trending. My professional reputation destroyed along with my personal one. But I sent the video anyway, knowing Kevin was my only hope. While waiting for his analysis, I did my own investigation. Emily's boyfriend Marcus was a film student at UCLA. His thesis? Digital deception, creating believable alternative realities. His Instagram showed expensive equipment, software that cost tens of thousands. Where did a broke film student get that money? I screenshotted everything before Emily could make him go private. Then I found something interesting in Mom's old emails, which I still had access to from helping her with tech support. 3 months before her death, she'd written to her lawyer, "I'm concerned about Emily's spending. She's been asking about early inheritance, even suggested I might have dementia. Please document that I'm of sound mind." Mom had been suspicious too. Kevin called back within hours, excited. "Sarah, this is sophisticated, but definitely fake. The facial mapping has telltale signs of GAN artifacts. The voice is cloned but has microscopic pitch inconsistencies. This took serious skill, and probably $50,000 in computing power. Can you testify to this?" "Absolutely. But Sarah, there's something else. The bass actor in the video? I found him on a casting site. He's Marcus Rodriguez, Emily's boyfriend. The pieces clicked. Emily and Marcus had literally filmed him performing the scene, then deepfaked my face onto his body. Kevin, can you prepare a full forensic report? Already working on it. But you need a lawyer. This is criminal fraud, not just family drama." I called Patricia Wong, the best litigation attorney I knew. She listened to everything, then said the magic words, "We're going to destroy her in court. But first, we need to know if there are more videos. This might not be her only attack." She was right. If Emily had made one deepfake, she'd probably made others. Patricia filed an emergency injunction to freeze the estate distribution. The hearing was set for 5 days later. Emily would have to defend the video's authenticity in court. But Emily wasn't stupid. She'd prepared for this. The next day, 2 more videos surfaced. One showed me stealing from Mom's jewelry box. Another had me on a phone call, discussing putting Mom in a cheap nursing home to save money. Each video was more sophisticated than the last. Emily was learning, improving her technique. But she'd made one mistake. The jewelry video showed me wearing a necklace I'd lost 2 years ago in my divorce. David had taken it during our separation. How would Emily know about that necklace unless I called David? "We need to talk about Emily." We met at a coffee shop. David looked uncomfortable, guilty even. "Sarah, I know the videos look bad, but you helped her, didn't you?" His face gave everything away. "She said you were mentally unstable, that Mom wanted the money protected from you. She just needed some personal details to make the intervention look real." Intervention. That's what Emily had told him this was. "David, she used you to make deepfakes. What did you give her?" He pulled out his phone, showed me their text conversations. He'd sent Emily photos of me from our marriage, videos from vacations, even recordings of me sleeping. She said she needed them for a tribute video to Mom. The man I'd once loved had handed my sister the raw materials to destroy me. "There's more," David said, now realizing he'd been played. "Emily promised me a finder's fee if the inheritance went through. $2 million. She said you were going to waste it all on failed startups. So greed had motivated him too, but his confession was useful. David, you're going to testify to all of this. I could be charged as an accomplice. Yes, you could, unless you cooperate fully." Patricia was building our case when Kevin made another discovery. "Sarah, the render farm used for these deepfakes, it's registered to Chen Industries. Emily used your mom's own company computers to create the fake videos." The audacity was breathtaking. She'd used Mom's resources to steal Mom's money. But the biggest shock came when I visited Mom's house to look for more evidence. The place had been ransacked, but not randomly. Someone had been looking for something specific. In Mom's study, I found what they'd missed, a hidden safe behind a fake electrical outlet. Mom had shown it to me years ago. Inside was a manila envelope labeled, "For Sarah, open only if Emily betrays you." My hands shook as I opened it. Inside were bank statements showing Emily had been stealing from Mom for years. Small amounts at first, then larger. Nearly $800,000 total. But the last document stopped my heart. It was dated a week before Mom's death. I, Margaret Chen, being of sound mind, have discovered my daughter Emily's theft. I've also learned she's been poisoning me slowly with blood pressure medication to induce strokes. If I die suddenly, investigate Emily for murder. I sat in Mom's study, staring at her accusation of attempted murder. Then I noticed something odd. The death certificate said Mom died at 3:47 p.m. at St. Mary's Hospital, but the hospital's visitor log, which I'd requested for the lawsuit, showed Emily hadn't arrived until 4:15 p.m. She'd claimed to be holding Mom's hand when she died. Another lie. But why? I called Dr. Amanda Foster, Mom's physician. "Dr. Foster, I need to ask about my mother's death." "Sarah, I'm so sorry for your loss. It was sudden, but strokes can be unpredictable. Did you actually pronounce her dead?" There was a pause. "No, I was off that day. Dr. Reynolds handled it." "But that's strange. He wasn't her usual." She stopped. "Sarah, let me check something." An hour later, she called back, voice tight. "Sarah, Dr. Reynolds doesn't exist in our system. The signature on the death certificate doesn't match any doctor at our hospital." My heart raced. "Are you saying I'm saying someone falsified your mother's death certificate? I need to report this immediately." The implications were staggering. If the death certificate was fake, then I drove to the funeral home Mom had supposedly been cremated at. The director checked his records, looking increasingly confused. "Miss Chen, we have paperwork but no actual record of receiving a body. Your sister handled everything, paid in cash, said she wanted a private viewing only. No body, no real doctor, no actual cremation. Where is my mother?" I whispered. The director looked terrified. "Miss Chen, I think we need to call the police, but I had a different idea. If Mom was alive, Emily would have had to keep her somewhere. And there was only one place Emily could hide someone without raising suspicion, her wellness retreat in Malibu. Emily had bought the property last year, claiming she wanted to start a meditation center. Isolated, gated, perfect for hiding someone. I drove there at night, parked a mile away, and approached on foot. The main house was dark, but the guest house had lights. Through the window, I saw a nurse checking on someone in a hospital bed. Someone with gray hair, someone who looked exactly like my mother. I called Patricia immediately. "We need police and paramedics at Emily's Malibu property. Now." "Sarah, what's happening?" "My mother is alive. Emily faked her death to steal the inheritance. The rescue operation happened within an hour. Police, paramedics, even FBI, given the interstate fraud implications. They found Mom alive but heavily sedated, being kept in a medically induced coma. Emily was arrested at her Beverly Hills apartment at 3 a.m., screaming about persecution and setups. Marcus tried to run but was caught at LAX, trying to board a flight to Mexico. David, seeing the news, turned himself in and agreed to testify for immunity. The house of cards was collapsing. Mom woke up 3 days later in a real hospital. Her first words were, "Did Sarah pass the test?" Test. This had all been a test. I sat beside her bed, holding her hand, trying to understand. "Mom, what test?" "Emily tried to kill you." Mom laughed, actually laughed. "Emily couldn't kill a houseplant. The blood pressure medication she was giving me, vitamins, I switched them months ago." "You knew?" "Of course I knew. I raised her. I know exactly what she's capable of, but I needed proof of what you were capable of, Sarah. Would you fight for truth or accept defeat?" The revelation was staggering. Mom had orchestrated her own fake death to test her daughters. "Mom, that's insane." "Emily committed multiple felonies." "Yes, and she'll face consequences. But you proved you have spine, intelligence, and integrity. That's why you'll inherit everything." "Everything?" "The will said 50-50. Mom smiled. "The will you saw was fake too. Emily created it." The real will leaves everything to whoever proves themselves worthy. There's actually $200 million, not $52 million. I've been hiding assets for years, waiting to see which daughter deserved them. My mother, the pharmaceutical CEO, had played 4D chess with her own children. The trial began 2 weeks later. Emily, in orange jumpsuit, looked nothing like the Instagram influencer she'd been. The prosecution presented Kevin's deepfake analysis, David's testimony about providing source material, and the evidence of Mom's fake death. But the most damaging testimony came from Marcus. Offered a plea deal, he sang like a canary. Emily planned this for 2 years. She studied deepfake technology, took acting classes to prepare the performance, even hired a voice coach to better mimic Sarah's speech patterns for the AI training. He showed receipts, planning documents, even a timeline titled Operation Sister Elimination. Emily's defense tried to argue mental illness, claiming she had dissociative disorder triggered by grief. But when Mom walked into the courtroom on day 3, very much alive and very much angry, that defense crumbled. "Your Honor," Mom said, taking the stand, "my daughter Emily is not mentally ill. She's calculating, greedy, and morally bankrupt, but she's completely sane." Mom revealed everything: the vitamin switch, the hidden cameras she'd installed to watch Emily's theft, even recordings of Emily bragging to Marcus about her plans. "I wanted to give her every chance to stop," Mom said. "Instead, she escalated to faking my death. That's when I knew I had to let her hang herself." The prosecutor introduced evidence that changed everything. "Your Honor, we've discovered this isn't Miss Emily Chen's first attempt at inheritance fraud." He presented documents from 2018. Emily's college roommate, Jessica Walsh, had died in a car accident, leaving Emily $50,000 in a will written days before the crash. The car's brakes had been tampered with, but it was never proven who did it. Then came 2020. Emily's boyfriend before Marcus, an elderly tech millionaire named Harold Green, had changed his will to include her, then died of an overdose. Emily had been the last person to see him alive. She'd inherited $3 million. The pattern was clear. Emily was a serial inheritance killer who'd finally targeted her own family. "How many others?" I asked Patricia during a recess. "The FBI is investigating 6 suspicious deaths connected to Emily over the past decade. All left her money. All died within weeks of changing their wills. My sister wasn't just a thief. She was a serial killer who used financial gain as her motive." Mom hadn't known about the murders. When the prosecutor informed her during a break, she collapsed. The strong woman who'd built an empire and faked her own death was destroyed by the revelation that she'd raised a monster. "I created her," she whispered to me. "I taught her to be ambitious, to never accept less than she deserved. I turned her into this." "No, Mom, you taught both of us the same things. I became an engineer. Emily became a killer. That's on her, not you." But I could see the guilt eating her alive. The test she'd designed to see who deserved the money had revealed something far darker than greed. Emily must have sensed the walls closing in because she tried one last desperate play. She stood up in court and announced, "I want to testify." Her lawyer tried to stop her, but Emily was beyond listening. She took the stand with the confidence of someone who'd talked her way out of everything before. "Yes, I made the deepfakes," she said, shocking everyone. "But only because Sarah was planning to kill Mom. I found searches on her computer about untraceable poisons. I was protecting Mom by eliminating Sarah from the inheritance. I'm a hero, not a criminal." It was absurd, easily disproven. But Emily delivered it with such conviction that for a moment, even I wondered if she believed her own lies. The prosecutor destroyed her testimony in minutes, showing that the computer searches she referenced were from her own laptop, not mine. The metadata proved it. Emily had projected her own murder plans onto me. During Emily's cross-examination, she said something that made Mom go pale. "Ask her about the real Chen Industries fortune. Ask her about the Chinese government contracts. Ask her why she really faked her death." The prosecutor hesitated, but the judge demanded elaboration. Emily smiled, sensing leverage. "Mom's company isn't just pharmaceuticals. She's been selling biological research to foreign governments. The fake death was to escape investigation." The courtroom erupted. Mom's lawyer objected, but the damage was done. Emily had just accused Mom of treason on the stand. Mom stood up slowly. "Your Honor, may I address this accusation?" The judge nodded. "My company did have contracts with various governments, all legal, all approved by the State Department. Emily is twisting legitimate vaccine research into something sinister because she's desperate." But Emily wasn't done. Check her secured servers. Password is Margaret1978. See what she's really been hiding. How did Emily know that password? That was Mom's most private server, where she kept personal documents. The FBI prosecutor made a note. They'd have to investigate now, even if Emily was lying. During the recess, Mom pulled me aside. "Sarah, there's something you need to know. Emily's not entirely wrong. I did hide money, but not for the reasons she thinks." "Mom, what did you do?" "I've been funding underground railroads for Chinese dissidents, getting scientists and their families out of China. The $200 million, most of it goes to that operation. My mother wasn't a traitor, she was a hero, but explaining that in court would expose the entire network and endanger hundreds of lives. Mom, we need to tell the truth. We can't. Emily doesn't know the real purpose. She just knows about hidden accounts. Let her think she's exposed corruption. Better that than the truth." When court resumed, Emily's lawyer tried to build on her revelation. "Mrs. Chen, is it true you have undisclosed foreign accounts?" "Yes," Mom admitted, "for tax legal international business. And these accounts contain, how much? Approximately $148 million. The gallery gasped. Emily smiled, thinking she'd won something. But the prosecutor redirected perfectly. "Mrs. Chen, are these accounts illegal?" "No. They're registered with the IRS, all taxes paid." He produced documents. "And what percentage of these funds came from Emily's criminal activities?" "None. Emily never had access to the real money. She was stealing from the decoy accounts I set up to test her." Emily's face went from triumph to shock. "Decoy accounts?" Mom smiled coldly. "You thought you were so clever, Emily. But every dollar you stole was marked, tracked, and reported. I've been building a federal case against you for 3 years. The serial killer had been hunted by her own mother without knowing it." "Ladies and gentlemen of the jury," the prosecutor concluded, "Emily Chen is not a daughter grieving her mother's death. She's a serial killer who graduated from murdering strangers to attempting matricide. The deepfakes were just her latest weapon in a long history of deception and death." Emily's defense made a desperate final argument about family dysfunction and mental illness. But when a defendant has admitted to creating deepfakes, faking a death, and stealing millions, insanity is a hard sell. The jury deliberated for 4 hours. Guilty on all counts. Fraud, attempted murder, kidnapping, identity theft, and conspiracy. The sentencing was 2 weeks later. Mom testified again, this time about the impact. "Your Honor, Emily killed my trust in humanity. She made me fake my own death to protect myself from my child. She turned my final years into a spy novel. I'm dying of real cancer, and instead of spending time with family, I had to orchestrate a sting operation against my own daughter." The judge sentenced Emily to life without parole. As they led her away, she turned to me and Mom. "You think you've won? I've got copies of everything. The real Chen Industries secrets. They'll come out eventually." Mom just smiled. "No, dear, they won't. Because the person you sent those copies to for safekeeping? He's been FBI since day one. We've known about your insurance policy for years." Emily's face finally showed real emotion. Defeat. Total, complete defeat. She'd been outplayed at every turn by the mother she'd underestimated and the sister she'd tried to destroy. The serial killer was going to die in prison, her last victim being herself. Marcus got 15 years for his part in the deepfakes and conspiracy. David got 2 years probation for providing the source material, his testimony the only thing keeping him out of prison. The other co-conspirators, Emily had recruited 2 actors who'd played witnesses, a fake doctor who'd signed the death certificate, all got 5 to 10 years. Mom and I sat in her real hospital room a month later. The cancer had progressed faster than expected. She had maybe 3 months left. "Sarah, I need to tell you about the network." "The dissidents?" "Yes. There are currently 43 families in safe houses waiting for permanent relocation. The operation needs a new leader. someone with tech skills and integrity. She was asking me to take over her secret humanitarian network. Mom, I don't know anything about covert operations. You exposed Emily's entire conspiracy. You're better at this than you know. The foundation is already in place. Dr. Foster, she's not just my physician. She runs the medical screening. Kevin Park, your friend who analyzed the deepfakes? He's been helping us with digital security for years. My entire professional network had secretly been part of Mom's Underground Railroad. How many people know? About 60. All carefully vetted over decades. Emily never suspected because she never cared about anyone but herself. She saw employees and contacts. I saw potential allies in saving lives. 3 days later, Mom passed away. Real death this time, surrounded by me and the families she'd saved. Her last words were, "Tell Emily I forgive her, but she still has to serve her time." I didn't tell Emily. Some forgiveness is meant for the forgiver, not the forgiven. 6 months have passed since the trial. I now run Chen Industries officially, and the Underground Railroad secretly. We've saved 17 more families, including a geneticist whose research could revolutionize cancer treatment. Ironic, given Mom's death. Emily sends letters from prison weekly, alternating between death threats and begging for commissary money. I forward them to the FBI and send her nothing. The deepfake video still exists online, despite court orders to remove it, but now it's studied in tech ethics classes as an example of AI abuse. I've become an inadvertent expert on deepfake detection, consulting with Congress on legislation to criminalize their malicious use. Emily's crime might actually lead to protecting future victims. David tried to reconcile, claiming he'd been manipulated. I got a restraining order instead. A man who helps destroy you once will do it again. He's now dating someone half his age who doesn't know about his role in the deepfake scandal. I sent her an anonymous warning with the trial transcripts. She dumped him immediately. Marcus was killed in prison. The official cause was suicide, but Emily had made enemies among other inmates by bragging about her inheritance murders. One of her victims had been someone's cousin. Prison justice is often more efficient than legal justice. Emily lost her only ally and her last connection to the outside world. The $200 million Mom left me is mostly allocated to the rescue network. I keep enough to live comfortably and invest the rest in saving lives. We've expanded beyond China to help dissidents from Russia, Iran, and North Korea. Mom's legacy isn't the pharmaceutical empire, it's the thousands of people who live free because of her courage. I visit Emily once a year, on Mom's death anniversary. She's aged 20 years in 2, her beauty replaced by bitterness. "You stole my life," she says every time. "No, Emily, you stole your own life the moment you decided murder was a career path." She doesn't argue anymore, even she knows the truth. Last week, I received an unexpected visitor, Jessica Walsh's mother, holding a photo album. The FBI told me Emily killed my Jessica. I wanted to thank you for getting justice. We cried together, 2 women connected by Emily's evil. She told me Jessica had been kind, brilliant, trusting. She loved Emily like a sister. The parallel wasn't lost on either of us. I've started a foundation in Jessica's name and the names of Emily's other victims. It funds forensic technology to solve cold cases involving inheritance fraud. 3 killers have already been caught using methods we developed. Emily's legacy is helping catch other Emilys. She'd hate that, which makes it perfect. The deepfake technology that almost destroyed me? I now own the company Kevin Park started. We've developed software that can detect fake videos with 99.7% accuracy. It's free for victims of deepfake abuse, funded by licensing to law enforcement and media companies. We've prevented hundreds of lives from being destroyed like mine almost was. Sometimes I dream about the Emily who might have been, the sister who used her intelligence for good, who helped Mom save lives instead of taking them. But that Emily never existed. The real Emily was always a predator wearing a sister costume, waiting for the right moment to strike. Mom saw it before I did, prepared for it, and ultimately defeated it. My name is Sarah Chen. I'm 46 now. I survived my sister's deepfake attack, exposed her serial murders, and inherited not just $200 million, but a humanitarian network that saves lives. Emily thought she was playing me, but she was playing against Mom's 40-year plan. The fake death, the hidden cameras, The decoy account's mom had orchestrated everything to expose Emily's true nature while protecting innocent lives. If you're watching this and think your family is complicated, remember, blood doesn't make family. Actions do. Emily shared my DNA but tried to destroy me for money. The 60 strangers in Mom's network, who risk their lives to save others. They're my real family now. They're the legacy worth protecting. To anyone facing deepfake abuse or family betrayal, document everything, trust your instincts, and remember that technology leaves traces. Emily thought AI made her invincible. Instead, it provided the evidence that put her away forever. The same tool she used to destroy became the weapon that defeated her. Emily will die in prison, probably still blaming everyone but herself. I'll die knowing I helped save thousands of lives through Mom's network. That's the difference between us. She chose greed. I chose grace. She chose murder. I chose meaning. She's my sister by birth, my enemy by choice, and my reminder that sometimes the most dangerous predators share your last name. Subscribe if this helped you recognize the warning signs. Share if you know someone facing family fraud. And remember, when someone shows you who they really are, believe them the first time. Emily showed me she was a killer. I just wish I'd seen it before Jessica Walsh and Harold Green and all the others had to die for me to notice.